Hi, my name is Austin Farrell, and thanks for joining me again for this series on teaching with AI, practical guidance for real classrooms. In the last recording, we discussed AI use cases and tools that you can use for those specific use cases. That's a very solid video, a lot of resources there. I encourage you to go check it out. In this recording, we're going to talk about prompt engineering. So, prompt engineering is extremely important. Again, as we want to use AI tools to create helpful content, helpful products, we need to make sure that we are clear in our instructions to AI. So, AI is just like any other technology. It's only as smart as the people who use it, right? So if you're not asking AI to produce something in a very clear, understandable way that actually results in a good product, then AI actually won't produce what you're looking for. So you want to you want to get better at asking AI to produce what you're looking for, and the way to do that is through prompt engineering. So I'm going to share what are called prompt engineering frameworks. So a prompt engineering framework is just a way to approach how to instruct AI, which can help you to consistently get AI to produce the content that you want. So there are 4 frameworks that we're going to cover briefly today. You can certainly search up more information about these frameworks online, but I just wanted to present them to you. You can use all of them. You can use one of them. You may find that a particular framework works well for a particular use case. And if that's the circumstance, if that's the case, then definitely lean on that framework for that particular use case. But again, the frameworks, you can use one, you can use all of them, completely up to you. One is not better than the other in what I've experienced so far, but you may find that you lean more towards one than a different one, and that's totally fine. So the 4 frameworks that we're going to briefly go over are the CRAFT framework, CRAFT. We're going to go over the STAR framework, STAR. And we're going to go over the TAG framework, TAG, and the RISE framework, RISE. Now, all of these are acronyms, and we're going to go over what all the letters in each acronym mean, and hopefully that gives you a sense of how you would use this framework to engineer your prompt. Again, prompt engineering simply being how do you create those instructions for AI to get it to produce what you're looking for. So starting with the CRAFT framework, that stands for context, role, audience, format, and task and tone. So when you're creating a prompt, you want to focus on the context of the prompt, which is the background information the AI needs to understand the situation. Then you want to focus on the role. What is the persona or identity the AI should assume? This is going to help the AI adopt a specific perspective and style of communicating when it's responding to you or producing the content you're asking for. What is the audience? So give the AI details in your prompt about the audience. This is going to help the AI adjust the difficulty level or the vocabulary or illustrations to that audience. Then you want to focus on the format. Make sure that you let the AI know in your prompt what is the structure of the output. How should it be formed? This might even require you to provide it with examples, right? Uploading examples into the AI so that sharing it with the AI so that they know how to structure it. And then finally, task and tone. So this is going to indicate what you want the AI to do. Describe the task or the action, and what is the tone that they are to do this in or write this in. So Those are the different considerations for the CRAFT framework. We're now going to move on to the STAR framework. So STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. So in the STAR framework, we want to focus on the situation first. So provide the context of the problem to the AI in your prompt. Then you want to clearly define the task to be accomplished. Next, you want to outline the steps needed to complete the action. And finally, you want to specify the desired outcome. All of this in your prompt so that AI clearly knows what to do and what to produce. Next, we have the TAG framework. So TAG stands for task, action, and goal. So for the TAG framework, our tasks, we're going to define what needs to be accomplished, the product or deliverable that we expect from the AI. We're going to write that in our prompt. Action, we're going to explain how the AI should accomplish the task, the instructional strategy or structure that you want to see used. And then the goal, we're going to specify the intended outcome, the educational reason or learner outcome that we want to achieve. All of this information is being put into all of this information is going to be in our prompt that we're going to put in our AI chatbot. And then the final framework is the RISE framework. So that stands for role, instructions, steps, and end goal. So in the RISE framework, we're going to define the AI's role. We're going to provide specific instructions for the task. We're going to clearly outline the steps for the response. And we're going to set expectations for the outcome. So again, all of these different aspects are going into your prompt. You're designing your prompt, and it's going to clearly state all of these things so that the AI has very clear directions and instructions in order to produce what it is that you're asking it to produce. Now, when you prompt engineer, one important thing to remember is that this is an iterative process, right? So you may put in the prompt one way and you find that it didn't quite produce what you were looking for. So you tweak it a little bit. Maybe you're using the CRAFT framework and you clarify more what the audience is, or you clarify more what the structure of the output should be, right? And then you re-put that prompt into the AI so it can ideally produce something closer to what you're looking for. So prompt engineering is an iterative process. So expect that, right? You want to constantly improve that prompt so that it reflects more accurately what you want the AI to produce. Again, feel free to use any and all of the frameworks. Use one framework if you like it better than the others. But there is information online about what these frameworks look like in action. And that's going to be really helpful. But again, the clearest way to think about it is all of that information needs to go in that prompt. So you should be able to read your prompt. And again, if you're using the STAR framework, you should be able to see clearly identify in your prompt the situation, the task, the action, and the result, right? So just make sure that you're using that to guide your prompting. And again, when you prompt engineer well, you get the products that you're looking for, right? And again, last thing, I'll say it again, prompt engineering is an iterative process. So you put in a prompt, and if the result, the product isn't exactly what you want, and the AI's response is not exactly what you're looking for, you go back into that prompt and you tweak some of the things to try to reflect more accurately what you're looking for. All right. Thanks for joining for this recording. Next recording, we're going to talk about advanced AI applications. So what are some really neat things you can do with AI, especially if you've been working with it for a minute now and you're looking to kind of go to the next step. What's something else you can try? How else can you leverage AI in more ways in your instructional practice? All right. Thanks. And I'll catch you in the next recording.